Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast, and today I'm so excited you get to meet Ariel Bredder. She is the founder of Beautiful Chick. She's also the host of It's Time to Be You podcast, and Ariel helps overwhelmed and unfulfilled people pleasers live a more authentic life on their own terms. And I definitely want to turn it over to Ariel to explain more of that and share with you what she does, her podcast, and how she helps you. So thank you so much, Ariel, for joining me today.
Yeah, Daniela, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And speaking of podcasts, you were on my podcast, which is coming out soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I can't wait to share that as well, because I think we both just have such very aligned messages, but we also have our own ways of sharing it.
Exactly. And that's just what I love about podcasts in general, of like, you can just always see a new perspective and learn from someone else and connect with somebody else. So thanks so much for having me. So my journey to get here has been a little interesting. I founded Beautiful Chick a couple years ago. It's been a while now, but I started it because at the time, I was actually a Mary Kay consultant, and I had been building my Mary Kay business. And I had just really gotten into self-help and personal development and realized how impactful it was. So I started a blog just to kind of share my journey, because I realized how powerful stories were. And I was going on this, self-development journey to become just to have a better life for myself. And I wanted to bring people along for the ride. So that's why I started the blog, to share some vulnerability and get myself out there. And then what I really love about being a consultant was just the ability to impact women. And Be Beautiful Chick came from just wanting people to know that they are beautiful because they are themselves and of who they are. Beauty it's not on the outside, it's really within. And I kind of started to develop this belief that when you become your best self, you live your best life, because everything starts with you and who you are. And then I got into life coaching. I became a certified life coach because, again, I just really wanted to help people. And then that's why I started my podcast, to be able to have just another way of putting myself out there and sharing my journey and, learning from others along the way. And one of the things that I really realized for myself along my own journey was that I'm a people pleaser, and I'm a recovering people pleaser now, but I just realized how much it was really hindering what I was doing, because, I wanted to do everything for everybody else. I was taking on so much. I was doing so many things for other people. And then it started to feel like I would regret my decisions. I would feel like I, should have said no. I didn't have any boundaries. And then I was just not really showing up as myself, because I was, worried about how other people would see me, or they would judge me. And, especially as you're building a business, you're kind of seeing how other people are doing it. So then you start to be like, I have to do it this way, or I have to look like them. And then that felt so inauthentic. And so I actually there was so much going on, and then it led me to have so much anxiety and stuff. And then I just kind of realized, and it's probably from my podcast and being able to talk to so many other different great leaders and resources, I was just oh my gosh, I'm definitely standing in my own way. And it's because of these people pleasing tendencies. So now that I've discovered that, I've been able to let go of a lot of stuff. And I just want that for other people. I feel I encounter so many women who are just living a life that they think they should live. They've done all the accomplishments, all the stuff that looks good on paper, but it's they're not actually happy. And I'm just we only have one life, where we should enjoy it. And we're here to, be happy and to make a difference. And so that's just kind of what I'm here for and all about is, helping women drop all the shoulds and set boundaries, know their values, and just embrace who they truly are and be themselves.
I love all of that, Ariel, from the talking about the difference between external beauty and internal beauty, the fact that you share your process and your journey, that this wasn't I read a book and now I'm good, that it's a process and all the steps that it takes to get there, as well as this last part that you talked about, being a coach, helping other people. There is such a fine line, I found, as well as a social worker, between helping and people pleasing. And it's a line that you don't realize, because we feel like if we're helping, if we're doing something for others, that it's always from that helping perspective. And sometimes it's not even about helping. We're doing it to get their approval, to make them happy. But because it's under the guise of helping, we think that it's a good thing, and not realizing how much damage it can, not damage, I think that's a harsh word, but I think that it's at our own expense, and that it goes from helping to hindering when we're losing in the process. And I love that you share all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, for me, like I love helping people and I love being a helper. And so it is like, I am that person that, people like would depend on and they can ask for anything. But then that is where it is. You've got to set those boundaries and just kind of know yourself of like how much you can really take on. So it's not hindering yourself. And I mean, I love the like overused phrase of like, you can't pour from an empty cup, or really like you got to put your own oxygen mask on first. But it's like, you really do have to understand like what you are capable of, and to know that just because you can't help someone like all the time or that one time, that's not going to like hurt your relationship. Because I think sometimes relationships are built off of like you helping someone and building it from there. And then you think like, oh no, if I don't help them, they're not going to like appreciate me anymore, or they're never going to ask again. And it's like, we build all this stuff up in our head, and it's just like, it's okay to say no and not help them that one time, or not all the time. And they will understand and have someone else, that can help them. Cause I think there's also like a lot of like guilt that then gets layered into that as well.
Yes, that guilt comes from those expectations that the other person might not even have. And sometimes we can even cross the line from helping to enabling as well, and not realize that we're doing them a disservice sometimes by how much help we're giving them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and then there's so much in that with like enabling them. And I know sometimes you've got people that like to play the victim. And then, if you've got someone who always wants to play the victim, and then you are running in there to like save them all the time, is that a healthy relationship? And that's something else you've got to look at, of like, is it toxic? And you actually may need to remove yourself from some of those people that are only using you to come save the day, or they just want to like throw all their crap on you, because, that again can like just drain your energy, and you might need to reevaluate some of those relationships.
Right. So what would be some things you would tell somebody who wants to start changing and setting some of those boundaries and removing themselves from negative relationships, as far as how to deal with maybe some of the guilt or some of their own feelings about it? How do they move in that positive direction of setting some of those boundaries and taking that space for them?
Yeah. My thing is to always start small. And like you said earlier, like it's a process, it's going to take time. But if you just start with something small, then that helps to kind of like build your confidence and seeing how it can actually turn out. And so kind of a way to really, I guess, start would be to evaluate like the situations that you are in. And I love journaling. I think journaling is such a good way to like let out your thoughts and capture thoughts that you have, and to just kind of like really pinpoint what's going on. And so, I would just like start to be aware of like what it is that maybe like rubs you the wrong way, or something that you're not feeling good about, or like if you've agreed to something and it's not, then you like later decide like I should not have agreed that. Just kind of like be aware of like those situations as they come up. And then you can either then take action of like, all right, this is going to be like the small thing that I'm going to say no to or approach, or go through the situation and like see how it makes you feel, but then like reflect back on it of like how you could have done it sooner. So I think like the first part is just like really being aware, because I think sometimes we aren't aware of like what's really going on and how we're feeling about something. So to be aware, and then just think about how you do want the situation situation to look. And so just to, once you've got that situation that you want to kind of set a boundary around, again, going back to the journaling, you could journal out about like, what do I want this situation to look like? What would it look like for me to say no to this person or tell them like that I can't do it or something? Like journal about that and see like kind of what comes up and like what feelings are coming up and how you would deal with those. And especially when it comes to that guilt, remind yourself that it is not your responsibility to do everything for everybody else, that there are other people out there that can do something or that they might be able to do it. But also a lot of times we go to the worst case scenario of like, oh my gosh, like they're going to hate me and like, I'm going to feel so bad. But like, what's the best thing that can happen? I love looking at it that way of like, oh, I'm going to say like, oh, I can't do this. I'm so sorry. And then they're going to be like, oh, no problem. Like I can ask so-and-so to do it instead. Like, I totally understand you're busy. Like think about like the good that can actually come from it. And also then take time to process of like how it's going to make you feel to like not have that thing on your plate. Like, how can you reward yourself instead of like, oh, I feel really good about this. Like, instead of doing that, I'm going to take time to sit outside for 5 minutes or read a little bit, something that you actually want to do to kind of like reward yourself of like, I did that. I stood up for myself and now I'm actually going to take care of myself. So just like little steps along the way to, keep moving forward. And then the more you do it, the more you'll get comfortable with it and see that it's like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right. And I love the actionable part of the journaling because I found journaling can give you the space to hear it in a different voice other than your own. So many times we would say something different to a friend, we would give them different advice than we give ourselves. And when we journal it and read it back, we can hear it then in a different voice other than our own and give that objectivity that maybe we can't give when it's just spinning in our own head. So I love that you offer that strategy because I think it's so powerful to really give you that space to see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. And then when you're kind of reading back there, like you said, like how we would talk to a friend, think about like what you would tell a friend and like some of the things you write. Like, would you say that to a friend? Would you say that to another person? Like
we're so much nicer to everybody else.
Yeah. Like we're so harsh on ourselves. We need to give ourselves some grace. And then that's the other thing. I think giving yourself grace is a big component of it because especially when you're making a change and doing something new and uncomfortable, it's easy to like beat ourselves up about it. Like, oh man, like I should have said no, or like I could have done that differently. Just give yourself grace. Like you're still learning and like trying on new things. And you might have stumbled over something when you were trying to like tell someone something, but it's okay. Like we're imperfect. We're all learning and continuing to learn. So I think grace is a big part of it too.
Absolutely. So if you can share with my listeners, what are the things that you kind of do then regularly, maybe to take care of your self-care needs?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, sitting outside is my favorite. That's why I gotta be that example. I just love to sit outside or, to take a walk. I love exercising, like running, and I've gotten into yoga. And then just, I think, I'm very introverted, so I like a lot of time by myself, but then I do like time with people. So it's kind of like that balance of, I love spending time with friends that really fill my cup, but then I also need to be aware of like when I'm kind of overcommitted and overdoing it, because I do need my alone time to just be.
Right. And I'm glad you shared those things because knowing what works for you might not be what, the influencers putting out there, or the gurus are putting out there. Just knowing what's going to work best for you is what's going to be the most effective. And so I think getting the most kind of bang for your buck, the most benefit is going to come from having, again, just that personal awareness and insight into what serves you and what's most aligned with what you need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that you bring that up because everyone is different and has different things that light them up or, fills their cup or whatever. And that's okay that it looks different from everybody else. Like I remember when you first get into like self-help, it's always kind of like wake up early and meditate and do all this stuff. And it's just like, I don't really meditate. I do sleep meditation. Like that's nice for me. But like, I tried to do meditation. That's not me. So for me, it's, when I just sit outside and journal, like that's kind of like meditation for me. But yeah, it's like, you don't have to do what everyone else does. And you don't have to like force yourself to like, oh my God, I've got to like this because it's what everyone else says.
Yeah. Like my cousin's such an extrovert and I love her, but for her,
Yeah.
like being around tons of people is what fills her back up, where I'm like, I got a lot of
Yeah.
peopling going on this week. I need to take some quiet alone time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So I always integrate gratitude as a big part of self-care too, because I think
Yeah.
being able to focus on what happens good during your day, because so many times we focus just on what didn't go well as just having that appreciation is kind of always an instant access to that. So what would you say are some of the things that you're the most grateful for?
Oh, I love that question so much. I mean, I'm so grateful for the people that I've been surrounding myself with lately. Like, I mean, of course, my husband and my family, but found like a running community that I'm so thankful that I've
Oh.
been a part of that. So that's just like a big thing that I'm really grateful for. And just an opportunity to connect with people, like connecting with you in this podcast. And I've gotten to do some other podcast interviews. So I'm just like grateful for that and, getting my reach out there. So I really love that you asked that question. And it's something that I saw Mel Robbins say that I've been trying to incorporate was like doing a win from the last 24 hours and then also like the last like 90 days. I haven't been great at that one because I feel like it'd just be the same every day. But to like do a win, because I think like sometimes, I think gratitude is like great, but it's usually like other things. But when you celebrate like a win, I'm just like, that brings so much power to like yourself. So
yeah, absolutely. Because that could look different every single day. It could be you got the good parking spot that you wanted to get, or it could,
Yeah, exactly.
You had a good conversation with someone that it allows for that variety of just some of my health, my family, those things that, like you said, could end up getting taken for granted because they're the same every day.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So how can people find you and work with you, Ariel?
Yeah. So my favorite place to be is Instagram. It's at @BeAutifulChick. I hope you put that in the show notes.
All the links are going to be in the show notes too. Yep. And then your podcast is where?
My podcast you can find on Apple, Spotify, Google, like wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you're listening to this one, you can find it. And It's Time to Be You. And then I'm actually creating a new website, arielbredder.com.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. I can't wait to check that out. So thank you so much, Ariel, for sharing all those amazing insights and actionable tips for my listeners. And I hope someone's able to walk away with something different because of that. So thank you, Ariel.
Thank you so much for having me, Danielle. I really enjoyed this.
So much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.